Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Today is Fake or Real Thursday, with the craziest stories that just can't be real. Am I the a-hole for calling out my boyfriend's obsession with his late wife and dismissing her birthday party as ridiculous? Our first post comes from the Too Hot Takes subreddit, posted by Throwride Grey Goose. I'm Kathy, 35, dating Tony, a 38-year-old widower with 3 kids for almost a year. I sensed Tony was still very attached to his late wife Laura, and our relationship took a back seat. It became clear after 6 months, but I bit my tongue. When Laura's birthday arrived, I decided to speak up. Tony invited me, his family and former in-laws. I joined, unaware of how awkward it would be. The whole house was filled with Laura's favourite things: purple decor, her beloved food and snacks, and music. An empty chair at the head of the table held a large photo of Laura, making it feel like she was still with us. After dinner, they all gathered around the table to share fond memories of Laura. It went on, each person praising her. Worst of all, there were several comments about Laura being one of a kind, second to none, and irreplaceable. They all sang happy birthday to Laura as they gathered around the cake. Then they went outside to release balloons, sending their birthday wishes to her in heaven. I felt humiliated and small, left and cried all night. All I could think about was how much I cared for Tony, and how much love he held for another woman. It stung, knowing that he would never love me as intensely. The next morning, Tony called, saying that the party was great, and he was glad I could make it. But his words made me feel like I was just another guest, not the woman that he was in a relationship with. He invited me over for dinner after work. I agreed, but realised it was time to discuss him moving on from Laura and focusing on our relationship. When I arrived at his house, it was a mess. He apologised for not having food and suggested that we clean up the party mess and reheat leftovers after. Inwardly, I was fuming. Once again, I was getting someone else's leftovers. I was sick to death of it. I seethed silently as I cleaned up. Finally, when I sat down with Tony, he hardly helped, leaving me to do most of the cleaning. After a long day of work, I was exhausted, angry, hungry, and on the verge of exploding. Kath, if you don't mind, why don't you throw some food into the microwave, will ya? Let's just relax for a while, it's been a long day. I lost it, and let out all my bottled up frustrations. I went on about how sick and tired I was of being treated like a maid and a whore. I'd helped with his kids, cleaned his house, and provided companionship and sex, but Laura remained his greatest love. And that ridiculous party! Dead people don't have birthdays, I screamed. Tony stared at me in disbelief and lashed out. How can you be so self-centered? You're making all of this about you. I felt overwhelmed and said, I didn't have to clean up the party mess. I could have stayed home. Maybe I caused my own problems and unfairly blamed him. I'm tired of my needs not being met and being second to someone I don't even know or care about. I feel like my feelings are being minimized. How can our relationship come back from this? How do I deal with this and let him know what he needs to do? Am I the a-hole? What the hell? He basically did a bait and switch on you. Invited you to dinner, which was actually just clean my house for me and heat up some leftovers for us while I relax on the couch. You're not wrong. He's treating you like a maid and a whore. Wife duties, but with no love and affection. Update. I know this is a relatively quick update, but I've been mulling over it for a while now, and only needed a few voices to validate me. So I just wanted to type something out. I just ended things with my ex-boyfriend. It was a relatively quick exchange. Laura's birthday was last week, and I was already thinking about breaking up. But I just needed more reasons from an unbiased source that confirmed why we shouldn't be together. Many of you also pointed out that I was letting him treat me this way and was putting up with so much disrespect in our relationship. This was indeed my own fault for not recognizing his behavior earlier and giving him a pass because he lost someone who was significant to him once upon a time. Being with a widower is difficult enough, but having the widower be a torchbearer for his late wife makes it that much more awful for the new woman in his life. I calculated my words carefully and told him, you have a right to hang on to the memory of your late wife forever if that's what you want. However, I'm also entitled to do what makes me happy. I feel like a poor second, an afterthought. You'll be better off finding someone who can live in your late wife's shadow, and I with a man who can fully commit exclusively to me. He told me that I was effed up, and I said, if that's what you believe, maybe we are better off parting ways. Stop gaslighting me. I know what you're doing. Good luck. I hope your memories keep you warm at night, because I won't be there any longer to warm your bed. Give your kids my best. I feel relief now. It feels like I've sort of restored my sense of self. Thanks again for all your support. Down in the comments, Kate Baddock says, this woman is lying. Her post didn't get deleted. She deleted it due to all the backlash she was getting because she truly is the a-hole and didn't like that. He says, I could have sworn yesterday he was your husband, not your boyfriend, and you already had divorce papers drawn up and you left. Actually, your whole story changed. I'm guessing you deleted it because everyone went at you hard, and now this version is less a-holy. The first comment was someone saying you should turn off your comments because you're gonna get ripped to shreds. Your previous story was that they were getting ready for the race for a cure for breast cancer awareness, and you didn't like the fact that they had a team in dedication to his wife. You were particularly peeved that they'd made t-shirts with her face on them. There was no dinner, no one asked you to bring anything. There was no house with Laura's belongings everywhere, no one making comments about how she was one of a kind and can't be replaced. Your husband/boyfriend didn't even ask you to participate in the fundraiser or the walk. You were pissed that they were doing anything to remember her. You also called your husband a former widower. Changing the whole story while claiming it got deleted to make yourself look better makes you an even bigger a-hole. This story doesn't even resemble the other one whatsoever. You conveniently made yourself out to be the victim in this version. You're dumb to think people don't have memories. Busted! Okay, so now we know the first story was fake. I went and found the original story, but it's indeed been deleted. However, AutoModerator reposted it into the comments as follows. In case the story gets deleted or removed, am I the a-hole for serving divorce papers to my husband for participating in Breast Cancer Awareness Month to honour his late wife? I, 39 female, husband 46 male. She also made them both younger. What the hell? This is so weird. Let's call him Nick. We've been together for 7 years, married for 2. My husband is a former widower from his first marriage to his late wife. Let's call her Sally, who died 12 years ago. My husband regularly participated in the cancer marches with his kids, and I knew that, but I always disliked how he did that. Instead of the cancer awareness, they championed his late wife, carrying banners of her face around, releasing balloons and advertising on social media, Team Sally. It slowly started to drive me nuts. Nick was my husband now, and he dedicated so much of his time and energy to the memory of another woman. Whenever I brought that up, he dismissed it, saying it was a worthy cause and he was doing it for his children. I agree, it was a worthy cause, but Sally wasn't the first nor the last woman to die of breast cancer, and he didn't need to include her to support the cause. Wow, his reaction makes so much sense now. I even suggested that we both make a donation and let his adult kids organise the event on their own without him. It always felt like an embarrassing slap in the face whenever I'd see him posting about Sally on social media, because it would be akin to a public announcement that he was thinking about another woman when he has a wife who he needs to remain respectful of. 2 weeks ago, I noticed he was editing some pink t-shirts again with Sally's face on it, and something inside me snapped. I contacted my lawyer and drew up divorce papers. Last night, I served them to him cold and left our house to live with a friend. He spammed me for a while, suggesting marriage counselling, and I told him, you've always tried to minimise my feelings, and no therapist in the world can ever convince me to bear the unbearable. I shouldn't have to work for the rightful place in your heart. Maybe you should seek counselling to break your ties to the past, or find a woman who thinks so little of herself to accept your nonsense every October. Now as I sit here, unable to sleep, I can't decide if what I did was rather extreme. Am I the a-hole? God, this woman is the raving loony of Delululand. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.